The guys I work with, they're super smart, they're intelligent, they usually work in engineering or tech or legal stuff, but it's very systematic based work. And that's the problem. When they speak, they touch the head, but not the heart. So what happens is that when they are connecting with a woman, they're connecting on a very logical level. And when you connect on a logical level, it's great when you want to sort out logistics, but when it comes to attraction, when it comes to connection, when it comes to seduction, it all requires a connection at an emotional level. And when guys are emotionally avoidant, when guys are emotionally disconnected, when they haven't been taught how to emotionally connect, maybe in their childhood, their parents didn't give them a lot of emotional connection. And you also need to have a lot of emotional conversations around this as well. You don't want to go too overboard with the emotional connections conversation either, but you need to have some sort of capacity to be able to have a conversation where you can actually describe what you're feeling. Am I feeling frustrated? I'm feeling really excited. I'm really happy. I'm really pleased. You'll notice that guys who are emotionally avoidant, and I was one of those men as well, and my avoidance can still show up, is that I would use a lot more logical words. And you look the way that women describe things and the world is that they use a lot of emotive words and they describe what's happening to them. This was the reason why women generally do well in divorce courts. I had a lawyer who showed up and was doing some speaking in my men's group. And what she was saying, that what she noticed, that the women were far more descriptive and they were far more emotive. They were far more expressing their sorrow, their sadness, their upset, their disgust, their pain, their hurt. And they used a lot of those words. What happened then is that the jury felt sympathy for them. They felt empathetic. They understood because they could relate to that pain. So because she's connecting on an emotional level and they could all relate, and then the judge could also relate. So what happened was that the bias started to go towards the woman more. Whereas the men, when they were showing up in court, they were quite logical, matter of fact. And matter of fact doesn't evoke emotions. It gets the logic going, that makes sense, but it doesn't really touch the heart. Now, of course, we need to be able to have a matter of fact, but we need to be able to also win people through our emotions and our connections. So for example, when you watch movies, they evoke so much emotion in you, right? The ones that you really remember is the ones that really touched you emotionally. Not the fact that they logically touched you, but emotionally touched you. And that's what you really got to bring. And again, I'm very logical based. So I have to try really hard, and it's frustrating for me. And especially when I first started this, and I was thinking, okay, this feels like a mess. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. Maybe I can't achieve this. Maybe I'm not the kind of guy who'd be able to really emotively connect. When my coach really helped me to really connect with my emotions, be able to describe them, be able to get vulnerable, but without becoming somebody who's vomiting emotions. Be able to be more describe how I felt about a situation really allowed me to connect to women. And that's something that guys really miss out on. That's why women say, oh, he's emotionally unavailable. He doesn't know emotionally how to connect. Men do when they're taught. And it's a skill that you have to fine tune. It's a skill I had to fine tune. I'm still fine tuning this skill. The way you can do this is better improving your text messages. Now, just working with one of the guys that one of my clients, he's super smart, super intelligent. When he communicates on text messages, it's very matter of fact, it's pragmatic, it's logical, it's systematic. Now, we're in a modern world where texting is so important. Guys are impatient. I haven't got the time. This is not something I want to spend a lot of time on. Correct. You don't have to write essays on text message. What you have to show is simple things. So something I call pace and lead. Pace means that you match them where they are, you acknowledge them, you understand them. So she would express something and guys would completely ignore it and then move on to the conversation in their head. And that's a mistake. You're having a conversation in your head. What you want to do is you want to get out of your head and then connect to what she said, respond to what she said, acknowledge that. And most men really fail to do this. The engineering kind of guys, the systematic kind of guys, they're having the conversation in their head. And to them, that makes sense. To them, there's a sequence that they follow. It's like they had a conversation here and the next sequence is here. But she may be emotionally somewhere else. So it's really important to emotionally match where she is. Now, what I'll do is I will bring out some text messages so I can give you some examples. So watch out for those videos as well. I'll go and run a small masterclass so you can really understand. When I do this in my group coaching and my one-to-one coaching sessions, guys really go, aha, I understand it. This is the gap where I was missing out on. And their frustration kind of like dissipates and they go, okay, something I can really work on. And absolutely, you can work on being far more empathetic by pacing and meeting her where she is. And then you lead. And the leadership is the masculine energy, is you lead and you, for example, you've just met a girl, you decide to connect with her, you bond with her, then you say, okay, I'm going to arrange a date, or you arrange a date and say, let's meet up here. This is the logistics. Then you've got time for the logistics, but don't do the logistical work, pragmatic work before you've built the connection. Most of the time. Sometimes, we can switch the rule around. If she's really into you, you've had a really great connection with her, then you can become more pragmatic on text messages. And again, another thing that you want to keep away from is you don't want to have a lot of conversations on text messages either. So you don't want to get obsessed with that. One is that will kill the curiosity, the connection as well. So you want to leave that for the real life connection. Second thing is, and this is something for both men and women, you will lead a lot of evidence and trail about your text messaging, your psychology on that as well. Some people can really turn nasty and they will use that against you as well. So that's another thing that you have to have a lot of safeguard around as well, or they can misinterpret that and use that in really awful ways. But if you're a good person, good character, you've got nothing to hide, so remember, those are the principles to remember as well. So keep text messaging, make sure there's a level of connection, don't go overboard with it, always hit a sweet spot, which is balance and temperance, but really build connection on text messaging. Use your heart instead of using your head, right? Don't be too logical. And if you need some help and support with this, I will do some videos on this, but also I suggest that you get feedback on your text messages. Maybe you want to send me some text messages, you can Instagram me on that, and then I can give you some ideas of where you're going wrong with this. I love doing this because your psychology, your patterns, the way you function on text messages really shows up. And it shows me your codependency, it shows me your avoidant, it shows me all the fractures that are showing up. It shows me your anxiety level as well. So text messages are a real clue into your psychological self-sabotaging patterns. If you need help with this, reach out.